encoded by flat genes. If unphosphorylated Chi cannot bind, the flagellar motor continues counterclockwise. Rotation in the cell undergoes a run. Another protein, Chi dephosphorylates, returning to it to a form that allows runs instead of tumbles. Because repellents increase, the level of Chi P lead to tumbling, whereas attractants lead to a lower level of Chi and smooth swimming. Mechanism of chemotaxis adaptation. Note that the system described can signal that chemical has a bound and regulate flagellar rotation, but seems to be unable to note a change with passage of time. There is a second component to chemotaxis, and this is adaptation. As their name implies, MCPs can be methylated. There is a cytoplasmic protein, Chi that continually adds methyl groups to this MCP at a slow rate using S-adenyl-methionine as a methyl donor. The phosphorylated form of the response regulator, Chi-B, is a demethylase that removes methyl groups from the MCP. The level of methylation of MCPs affects their conformation and controls adaptation to a sensory signal. It allows resetting of the signaling state of the receptor even though the concentration of the chemical remains unchanged. If the level of the attractant remains high, the level of phosphorylation of Chi-A, and therefore Chi-Y, and Chi-B will remain low. The cell will swim smoothly, and the level of methylation of the MCP will increase. Because Chi-B-P is not present to demethylate, however, the MCP no longer respond to the attractant when they are fully methylated. Therefore, even though the level of attractant might remain high, the level of Chi-A-P increases and the cell begins to tumble. However, now the MCP can be demethylated by Chi-B-P, and when this happens, the receptors can once again respond to attractants. The situation is the opposite with regard to repellents. Fully methylated, MCPs respond best to repellents. The control of chemotaxis is obviously quite complicated and involves a number of regulatory switches. Unlike the case in many other component systems, in chemotaxis, the signal transduction system regulates the activity of the gene products, not their synthesis. Chemotaxis is under complex regulation involving signal transduction in two component systems. However, these systems regulate the activity of the proteins involved rather than their synthesis. Adaptation allows the system to reset itself to the continued presence of a signal. We have discussed only a few of the mechanisms by which cells can control the activity of a protein, and also only a few major mechanisms that can regulate the system synthesis of a protein. Most of the mechanisms we considered for regulatory synthesis operate at a level of transcription, and all involves regulatory proteins. However, as we mentioned, regulatory RNA also exists. Antisense nucleic acid. Contrast in gene expression between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Although many of the major regulatory patterns are shared between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, there are many differences. Because of the lack of compartmentation in prokaryotes, the process of transcription and translation are coupled. Also, the messenger RNA of the prokaryotes is frequently polycistronic, with more than one protein being translated from the same message. In eukaryotes, on the other hand, transcription and translation take place in separate compartments in the cell, and the integration of these processes seen in prokaryotes is lacking. How about induction and repression in eukaryotes? Although many eukaryotes do exhibit repression, there is little evidence for the kind of negative control so commonly found in prokaryotes. However, positive control mechanisms are common in eukaryotes. If operants exist in eukaryotes, they involve the control of only a single enzyme rather than the multi-enzyme control systems, as so commonly seen in prokaryotes, and there is no evidence for polycistronic RNA molecules in eukaryotes. Except in a few viruses. They are translated inefficiently. Post-translational protein modification is quite common in eukaryotes. Eukaryotes also have regulatory involving splicing of mRNA, regulation that does not exist in prokaryotes. It is the regulation of genes that is the basis for development of multicellular eukaryote organisms, which begin life as single cell and develop into complex organisms with many very different and highly specialized cell types. The process of differentiation requires that specific sets of genes become active at precisely the correct time during the development of the organism. The complex regulatory pathway involved in development are currently under intense investigation. Understanding and controlling these pathways would allow for tremendous advances in medicine. Prokaryotes and eukaryotes share many similar regulatory mechanisms. Regulation in both involves proteins that recognize DNA sequences. Although in eukaryotes positive control is more common, and prokaryotes transcription and translation can be coupled, but in eukaryotes these processes take place in separate compartments. Prokaryotes also have polycistronic messages, and eukaryotes do not. This is the end of chapter 8 in microorganisms. This was a long session, but a very, very efficient session. Take care and have a nice day.